Hey guys! I was gonna make this video in downtown hall, but as you can see, I can't really walk. So I'm gonna make it here in my apartment, okay? There we go. Oh, why can't I walk, you ask? It's because we had a football workout and I got way too excited and didn't warm up properly and ended up pulling my calf. Again. Calfieria's back. And I hate him. Defense has practice, and we're gonna do our modified practice. It's not like real football practice, but it's better than nothing, and it's just good to get out on the field. So I'm pretty hyped for that! So, let's go! Uh-oh. I made a uh-oh. So I had a really great conversation with my coach, Jordan, who's from Texas in the States, but has lived here in Germany for a long, long time. And then my former coach and now athletic director, Ziggy, who is from Germany, but seems like he's from America. They both have very interesting and, wise perspectives on all this stuff. And I talked with them about some behaviors that are, kind of normal and accepted in Germany, but would be perceived as rude by Americans or would be perceived as rude in the United States. So that's what we're getting at here. You guys may not agree with all of them, and I don't care if you agree with all of them or any of them. This is my channel, and you have to just listen to what I say. Sorry, I feel really whiny because my calf hurts. All right, here we go. Number one, being too direct. Right? Americans love to beat around the bush and not say uncomfortable things directly to another human being. Whereas German people have no problem saying something direct and a bit uncomfortable to another human being. For example, when I first got to Germany and I first started playing for the Unicorns, it took me a little while to get going, and I had a rough couple first games. And I had some fans come up to me after the game and say things along the lines of, hey, you're an American, you need to do better than that. I thought you would be a better player than this. And in my experience, in my opinion, I took that as an incredibly rude thing to say. I was blown away. I was like, that is rude as shit. Can't believe somebody would say that to me. But the German person who was saying it wasn't saying it or coming from a place of rudeness. It was a place of honesty, which is, in fact, I think, the opposite of rudeness in German culture and German society. Us Americans are sensitive. If you have an uncomfortable thing to say, you don't say it directly. You kind of beat around and find a roundabout way of saying it in a polite way. If a German person were to go to America with this attitude of being extremely honest and truthful and direct, some American people might get offended, and there could be some punches in the face. I'd say another example of this is say when making plans for something. If somebody's trying to make plans with you in Germany and you don't have an intention or you can't do this thing or this event or whatever, you just say, oh, you know what, I can't do it, I'm busy, I'm doing something else. Oh, you know what, I just don't think I'd be interested in that, thank you though. Something along those lines. In America, you don't do that. If somebody invites you to anything or tries to plan something with you, it's always, okay, awesome, yeah, we should get together, let's figure it out, let's figure out a time. Then you're just supposed to know and sense based on the interaction if you guys are being truthful or not. And you have that sense, like Americans have this sense of if that was just a nonsense interaction or if that was a true interaction. And I have begun to lose this sense. For example, I was on a trip with my sister and her friend. We were in Honduras and we were on this little island and we ran into another American woman at this restaurant. She was pretty weird, and my sister's friend Meg started talking to her, and they were talking about her dog and stuff, and it was very friendly back and forth American casual banter. And in the end, the woman was like, hey, you should come over to our apartment later and have some drinks and blah, 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 all this stuff. And my sister's friend Meg was like, totally awesome, yeah, for sure, we're gonna do that. All right, sweet, let's do something like that. And then we left, and I turned to Meg, I said, Meg, are we really gonna go hang out with that woman? And she said, no, are you kidding me? She was so weird. And that's when I first started to realize that I've lost or started to lose this sense a little bit of just being able to tell if an interaction is nonsense, friendly, superficial fluff, or a real interaction. I think it's very interesting. But anyway, long story short, being too direct is rude to Americans. Number two, corrective or aggressive behavior while driving. Now this one is a little bit, I have a little bit of an extreme reaction to this one because I come from Oregon, which is an extremely passive and mild driving culture. There's this hilarious sketch from the show Portlandia, which is about Portland, the main city in Oregon. Love this show. And I think this really illustrates the driving culture in Oregon.
Go ahead.
You can go.
You don't even have a stop.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, you go.
No, you first.
Everyone's very passive. It's like, oh no, you go.
And you go.
I'm gonna go after you.
Hit the road, Jack.
No, you go.
And you go.
No, you go.
And you go.
No, you go.
No, you go.
No, you go.
I'm not going until you go.
No, you go.
I'm not gonna go until you go.
No, you go.
No, you go.
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 You go. Oh, you go.
No honking. Never honk. I never will honk or flash my beams at anybody. It's just I have Oregon driving culture. But in Germany, the driving is much more aggressive, right? Like people will say on the Autobahn, if you're driving too slow, they're coming up behind you, they'll flash you, right? Which I actually think is a good thing. But in the States, this kind of behavior would result in some sort of road rage fight. So, or if you're at a light and it turns green and you don't go right away, people in Germany will honk at you so quickly and aggressively. A lot of these driving interactions in Germany, or behaviors, would result in like extreme road rage and possible situation where people are pulling over to fight or shoot each other on the side of the road. I was in Boston once with a few of my friends, and one of my friends was driving and he kind of cut off a guy. It wasn't anything like that serious. It was like a little bit of a cut off. This guy chased us in his car for miles, honking at us, telling us to pull over, let's go fight, come on, let's go fight. And it was a really mild like thing what he did. Now in Germany, there I see and experience much more what I interpret as rude and aggressive behavior, and it's not interpreted the same way.
Yum. I've got a lot of sides in here. You go.
Crossword? I'm just kidding, there's no crossword. Go ahead.
You go.
No way. Go ahead.
Go. 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 You go.
Gesundheit, Dankeschön. Number 3. A lack of respect for physical distance in between humans. Now, you guys know I've complained about this a lot of times. The greatest example that I have of this is in a grocery store line. Things are different now during Corona times. This is one positive thing that I found in this situation. But for the most part, the accepted distance, physical distance between two human beings who are strangers is much smaller in Germany. And I know people, when I say this and complain about this, people always say, well, go to, Greece, go to Italy, go to India. It's even more extreme. It's like, I believe you. But it's also extreme for me, being an American coming to Germany and seeing how close strangers are willing to get to you in line. If you're a German and you go to America and you stand this close to somebody in the grocery store line, they're going to turn around and say, hey, back off, man. What are you doing? And that's how I feel when I'm in German grocery stores. But I know that I'm in a different culture and I have to adapt. So I don't say that, but it is uncomfortable for me. See, but I would say that this does not apply to like if you're just like standing and having a conversation with somebody. Like the distance that you would stand and talk to somebody is similar, but when it comes to lines, or queuing up, as you Europeans love to say, the accepted physical distance is simply appalling. And if you were to stand this close to somebody in a line in the States, it would be considered very, very aggressive and rude. But in Germany, it is not considered so. Interesting. So guys, that is, in my opinion, 3 behaviors that's pretty normal in Germany, pretty accepted, that may be interpreted as rude in the States by Americans. Let me know what you guys think. I'm sure you'll agree with me because everything I say is always 100% accurate and perfect, and everyone has the exact same experience as me. And so I'm sure all of the comments will just be like, Nick, you're right, like usual. So feel free to write that comment. Nick, you're right, like usual. Okay? Thanks, guys. Hope you have a great day. Keep your fingers crossed for my calf that I don't go crazy. See you later.